And we're back here in the penthouse. Our coverage on Beyond the Summit 2 on Twitch TV continues. I'm your host here at AC Chambers. To my left, I guess to your right, is actually Gods, and it's our first chance to cast together last game. Don't know that we could ask for a better chance, man.
It was a fantastic game to start things off, I gotta say.
So fun. Let's be honest, it wasn't the most competitive, but it was a lot of fun to cast. We got to see Coddle Lags. We got to see 20-0 Smash Timbersaw. We got to see Mystico play a very nice support Wraith King as well. And honestly, that was a very important match, as we talked about. Top 5 and Revenge, all kind of on the bubble in terms of trying to make it into that top 4. So looking ahead before we jump into the draft, no Earthspirit and Shadows of the Past. I've gotten to see no Earthspirit a little bit. I'm just curious if you know more than I do about these teams.
I know a few of the players from past tournaments and whatnot, but I've not seen any Shadows of the Past games except like maybe 5 minutes when I was in the lounge sitting down. No Earthspirit, I think I've seen one of their games and one of their games only, so I know very little. I don't know as far as the TI4 qualifiers go. As far as past tournaments, no, I've seen bits and pieces that were playing in the Summit for the North American qualifiers, and also some of the past tournaments I've cast, but recent news, not so much.
Well, I know that Shadows of the Past, looking at just the way the numbers work out, if they lose, they're mathematically eliminated.
Okay.
So this is their dead last chance, and even then, it's a very far outside.
They're 2-6 or something, or
look it up for you if I can find it. No, actually, I have it on the other one. Don't worry about it. They're down there. I think they have 1 or 2 wins. And you've got it.
They're 2-4. I think maybe. Oh, they're 3-4.
Oh, never mind then. I thought they had dropped their last game. So yeah, they're right there with Revenge. Who did they beat?
I'm not sure if this is accurate. I don't know how much I trust the old Liquipedia. I suddenly look at this. They were talking in lobby, and Shadows of the Past was saying they'd only won 2 games. So
yeah, exactly.
I think they're 2-5. I think that's possibly a typo because they were talking in the lobby as if they'd only won 2 games.
Right. So I'm pretty sure if they lose here, they're pretty much out. Like they and Revenge both are in the same situation. You look at the rest, C and B at 4-4. Honestly, it's just a pack of 4-4 teams. E-Hug right there with them, top 5 C and B, and on up to Union Gaming. So no Earthspirit is mathematically eliminated, but they do get to play, have a chance to play Kingmaker a little bit, try to ruin someone's day. So how about we jump right on into the draft and see what these teams are showing us as we move in. Shadows of the Past halfway through the draft along with no Earthspirit. It'll be the Marana and the Centaur to lead things off. Another Marana, gee, who'd have thought? No Earthspirit. Grabs a Shadow Demon and at least an early pick Naga Siren. That's a little bit different.
Well, they banned our favorite hero, the Treant Protector, so no Treant Protector this game. Naga Siren generally played as that farming solo mid hero. I don't think we'll be seeing too much difference here. Just as a support, it's no longer really as scary as possible, especially the nerfs. I feel like the Riptide nerf especially hurts Naga Siren's support because it doesn't really give Naga much without the Riptide. Whereas a farming Naga, sure, your Riptide has slightly less AoE, doesn't go through BKB, but you still, once you get your Radiance, have that Radiance damage to play around with. So in some ways, the nerfs made the hero even worse as support and only a little bit worse as a carry.
Well, we've still seen her kind of fall off a little bit lately. Even with players who really did prefer her, like in that mid role in Arteezy, etc. She's still not played quite as often. And do you think that's just kind of a meta shift thing, or do you think what nerfs she did absorb were enough to justify her falling as far as she has?
I think they justified it. I think Naga Siren's very balanced at the moment. I think maybe, it's definitely not worth. I don't think it's worth picking up in the first pick stage. I think Noah Spirit may be slightly overrating it. And it also reveals a lot of your strat. Like Shadow of the Past say, oh, you're going to be doing a solo mid Naga Siren. Great, we can play around that.
Right.
Unless you are going to throw a curveball, which is run a support Naga Siren and look for like a big team. The only way you can do a big Naga Siren support is if you have a big team fight. So get your Naga Siren, Enigma, and whatnot. But that's where Shadow of the Past, they ban the Cupid Light, they ban the Tidehunter, they ban these big AoE heroes who would synergize well with a Naga Siren Sleep. And I think that's probably part of the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Timbersaw is in that pool with, say, an Enigma where he has one of the few ultimates that can be laid down and made to perfectly overlap on top of that. So it's potential we might see that. We certainly saw Smash show us just how strong a Timbersaw can be in just about any situation. Shadows of the Past, though, Centaur Miranda, that's pretty standard fare, but grabbing up the Chen, heroes that, even with teams with which he's extremely popular, it still seems like he has fallen off a little bit. And honestly, a Chen pick, coming out this early puts you in a situation where you can be counterpicked, but more importantly, you kind of put yourself under the gun in terms of how you have to play early. You have to maintain map control, and you have to be able to carve the map up with good rotations. And now no Earthspirit answering with a 4th pick Lifestealer.
Well, this could be Lifestealer, like if he's your farming carry and you're a Timbersaw on the offline, you can still put the Naga Siren mid as a greedy farming Naga Siren, but I feel like there's not enough farm to really go around. All 3 of those heroes won a lot. Timbersaw, if he's kind of trying to create space for those two heroes, like Timbersaw to me just isn't a space creator. He needs to get farm, and then, like what we saw from Smash was sure he's getting lots of kills and getting aggressive and taking part in fights, but because he had all that early farm, he had that really fast Bloodstone. So it's something Timbersaw just can't really do without the farm to go with it. So I'm wondering if maybe that means Naga Siren will be a support now.
Yeah, it's kind of open and ambiguous. I mean, in terms of how they want to lane it. And you could always do something like go back to the old school, man. Like, whenever I see a Lifestealer and a Shadow Demon on the same thing, or it's the same team, the first thing that jumps to mind, and this goes way, way back to, like, G League, going back to, like, the end of 2012, whenever you used to see the, at the time, LGD International team that had barracks and 1437, they used to run a Lifestealer Shadow Demon and very often, like, a Leshrac or some guaranteed follow-up stun off of the Disruption. And you can actually get very, very aggressive. And when you see the Chin that's already out here, that's an option, you know, being able to aggressive into what you can assume is going to be a fairly weak defensive tri-lane. Now they have the Bane and the Mirana, though, so that's tough in its own right. But I think there's a lot of, I think there's very high potential that we're going to see these teams meeting head-on very quickly.
Yeah, especially if, like, it's Bane Mirana, end of the day, it's still a dual lane against the tri-lane. And Timbersaw matches up fantastic against Centaur 1v1, which just shred through most melee strength heroes. So that's something which maybe no Earthspirit are looking for. And I think Naga Siren to follow in that tri-lane also isn't too bad. Sure, it's two melee heroes, but you disrupt into a Riptide plus the lifesteal damage. It's pretty scary, but may just see Naga mid and get some other, like you say, the Leshrac, the Lina, these kind of support heroes.
Bane Mirana is always fun to watch. But I'm just trying to think how, if you're in Shadow of the Past shoes, like, are you anticipating that and do you draft towards that, or do you just say screw it, we're going to draft what we plan the draft and we'll deal with the problem as it comes?
At this stage, I don't think they're expecting an offensive tri-lane. I think at the end of the day, I think this last pick is probably their mid hero unless they're playing to Mirana mid. Neither team really has their mid hero unless we're seeing the Naga Siren mid. So no Earthspirit going to start by banning the Storm Spirit. And this is where I feel Shadows of the Past have an advantage with this last pick, because they can see what no Earthspirit get and then figure out the lanes from there before they have to commit to what their lanes would be. Because they may be saying, maybe Mirana's mid, maybe Mirana's carry, maybe we're going to have to do offensive, maybe we want offensive tri-lane. They can wait and see. So having that, they had the first pick and now they have the last pick, is actually a nice position to be in.
Just theory crafting, and I'm right on board with you. Unless they do something like Mirana, even Centaur can be run mid in some situations, depending on what you anticipate. Given you do have two melee candidates that could be mid in the Naga Siren and the Timbersaw, so maybe you consider running a Centaur there.
Yeah.
You think that's viable?
He does quite bad against Timbersaw, I think is the main problem, and I don't think he would slow down Naga Siren much mid. I think you'd rather. I mean, Mirana doesn't either. I think Shadows of the Past need a good mid hero to just win the lane against Naga Siren, which. There's not too many of. Like, Puck's still in the pool, but Puck doesn't really beat Naga Siren. There's maybe a TA would be okay.
Shadow Fiend?
Yeah, Shadow Fiend's not solid as well. I think you want something like with a lot of just lasting potential, you can just farm and try snowball. So your TA, your Shadow Fiend, these kind of heroes.
Still waiting to see. It looks like Shadows of the Past thinking it over. I think they're trying to figure out. They're going to go with Sand King, so I think that indicates that they're on the same mind we are. Going with that follow-up reliable stun. I actually... I'm surprised Sand King didn't come to mind. Sand King, since the buffs he's received to Sandstorm, I love him in a situation like that. If for no other reason, that if you start out and maybe it's not going as well as you like, or maybe it goes even inordinately well and you feel like you can bail out and make it a 2-on-2 and you're still at a disadvantage, he can duck into the jungle, and his jungling speed is actually ridiculous. And he's going to be able to do so fairly reliably with the Chin showing on the other side.
We'll now find out what no Earthspirit do want to pick with this fifth pick. And yeah, I think the Shadow Demon makes a nice 5% support, so you're spot on there with Sand King being a good hero to have as a kind of more greedy support to go with it. But Leshrac, Lina, like, they're nice supports, but they also kind of, they're 5-position supports. You want to have at least... With the way things have changed now, you need to have one support that can actually do a lot with farm. And Leshrac kind of fits into that, but Lina definitely not. Not to say you still can't pick the Lina here. You can still go for 2 hard supports and have a good draft because they've got 3 good core heroes, but it's a lot harder to do that. Generally, we see teams get greedy supports.
You know, something I haven't even really thought of. I'm almost positive it was D2L. I may have seen them do it in another tournament as well. It's going to be Elder Titan, so never mind. I was going to talk about the idea of a Leshrac fitting in here, and the fact that Sing Sing for Cloud9 has been known to actually farm a Leshrac in an aggressive position, and just how strong the Leshrac actually is now after the buff to Lightning Storm. And basically you skip Edict. You don't even worry about the push. You just go pure fighting build. But that's going to be neither here nor there as the Elder Titans picked up. And still, I mean, you talked about it early on. We both kind of dismissed it, just talking about the Naga Siren. But Shadow Demon, Support Naga Siren, and Lifestealer is actually still fairly strong moving out into an aggressive position.
Some teams did used to use Elder Titan as a support as well. Like Navi used to run Kuroki sometimes on a support Elder Titan. So I'm not 100% sure who's going to be support, who's going to be carry here. I would lean towards, I think, Naga support, because I think they want Elder Titan to be getting lots of levels to get their fast max aura up, so they can. That combined with Soul Catcher makes heroes melt. We saw it a bit yesterday, and it was just. It was scary to see on, I can't remember which game it was, but a team had, it was NAR when they beat Liquid. I think NAR beat Liquid, and they was using a Shadow Demon Elder Titan. They had a Solar Mid Elder Titan, which was just destroying heroes. So.
I remember that. Oh, yeah. Whenever you're talking about natural order, going with, like you said, Soul Catcher, the damage amplification is just gigantic. Was that the game where they blew up that Morphling?
Yes.
Yeah, I was
you were casting that one with Fear?
We were actually watching it, I think.
That's right.
We were watching it down in the lounge, because I ended yesterday in the lounge and started today in the lounge. But the lineups are set, and I'm a happy camper. I get my Brewmaster, man. I've been talking about this hero since arriving here. Anytime I've been asked, whenever down on the lounge or in Twitter, heroes that I like or want to see played more, Brew's right at the top of my list. How do you feel about the old Panda Bear?
I love the hero. He's one of my... When I play, I just love micro heroes. It was just that little extra bit of challenge you get from them. But it's a lot of fun to see this hero played. It really is a fun hero to play and to watch being played, and one of those heroes which is forces team fights. So as a caster, it's always good when you get those extra couple of team fights.
Well, we'll see how they're going to end up laning this out. And I feel like I've seen enough Banner that I should know. Knaves are support, so no support there. Bricks and Relic have been alternating in and out of mid.
Looks like, Chicken MC's going with the Brewmaster, but you're right, that Relic is normally mid with Bricks is typically your... Oh, sorry, I'm talking about the wrong team. I'm talking about the Dire side.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're on the Banner side. You're right about that.
Bricks and Relic have both been alternating in the few games I've seen them play.
Okay.
Looks like it is going to be a mid Naga, though. And Lifestealer, it's just going to be some boring old defensive tri-lane. Oh, well, all that theory crafting just so we can see a support Elder Titan. But that's going to make... it's going to make Shadows pretty happy. That's going to give their Chin plenty of room to operate early on. Chicken MC on the Brew, as you had mentioned. Looks like, I think we're still anticipating the potential for it, as they've moved 4 now to protect their jungle. But no one going to be home. Everybody else just kind of chilling back on the green side of the map.
So we'll see what I think Chen's going to be the big hero here. If he can get some early kills, rotations around the map, and especially towards the Naga Siren, you want to prevent that fast Radiance up, and even just towards the offlane Timbersaw. The main problem is they don't really have they can initiate with a Nightmare into Arrow, but once that's worn off, they don't have anything to cancel the Timber Chain mid-cast. They don't have that good stun or a Rubik Telekinesis to really cancel it, but if they get a Sleep Arrow, that should be enough damage to get the kill.
The horn blows. We're ready to go, and waiting on the rune to spawn. We'll be top, and it'll simply be a regen, so not a whole lot to talk about there. So how about we talk about the lineups? Take a look at who's handling who. Bannerth going to have... actually... I can barely read the blue on the green's actually tough. That's going to be Goody playing on our Elder Titan. It'll be the Lifestealer played by Bricks. He's down here going to be farming the safe lane with the assistance of the Shadow Demon. That's played by Knave. Knave struggled yesterday in the matches I saw, so going to be hoping for a more consistent performance from him. Relic will be on our Naga Siren, and the Timbersaw will be played by Half-Fried Egg Roll on the side of the river. It'll be Chen played by Last Hit Magic. It'll be Centaur handled by Nerok. The Mirana this game around going to be played by, just going to call him one, I suppose. It'll be Bane played by Joik, and in mid, Chicken MC on the Panda. How do you feel about Panda mid, man? I love it.
Yeah, I think it's the best lane for him. He does a lot with the levels. He's fantastic 1v1 against so many heroes. He's one of the few heroes that would beat heroes like TA mid. You can often get a value point in the Drunken Haze early on. I don't think you necessarily need against Naga, because Naga's just spamming Riptide to farm, but Brewmaster either draws most lanes where he trades farm, or he actually can win the lane against so many heroes mid.
So a little bit of a rotation onto Nerok, but really just kind of a right-click auto-attack kind of a rotation, not really going for a kill. This is probably going to be a fairly quiet early game until Last Hit Magic decides to get active. He does have a smoke, though, and as soon as he will go ahead and find himself a summoner. Let's see if he wants to use that summoner, do anything but farm. Doesn't look like so.
You can't really... Brewmaster, even with level 2 clap, I don't think you can kill the Naga Siren there, so I think his best bet is to just farm. Maybe you get a kill on the Timbersaw top, but you're better off going for that kill on Timbersaw top when you hit the 3-minute mark, because that's when you get your first siege creep, and you get the kill, and then you transition to a tower push. So I think we wait to see him gank the Timbersaw until that siege creep's coming out.
That's good insight, man. That's the kind of thing, got to admit, I never even think about. The idea of just waiting for the siege creep and trying to push off of it. And that's why I have a voice and you have a brain. But 2 minutes in, we can see a little bit.
You're too harsh on yourself, Aaron. Come on now.
Oh, I'm not nearly as harsh as Twitch is. Don't worry. Love you guys. I'm just I'm in a happy mood, dude. Like I'm really in a good kind of self-deprecating mood. Like casting with you is a blast.
sunny LA weather, man. It's
it's just you,
it's
man.
good for everyone.
I love you know it's you and I have known each other for a long time, and finally getting to cast with you, even though you know Ban Earth and Shadow's not exactly the top contenders here. Just it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more with you. I think we cast something tomorrow as well, so we'll look forward to that. But how about we talk about Dota? Last Hit Magic is going to rotate over. It's going to be the 2.5 minute mark. There's a Nightmare to lead thing off. Arrow is going to miss. Oh, he screwed it up. He right-clicked. He actually got the Nightmare onto himself. And that's a big missed opportunity. That's huge.
I've seen that mistake a few times before, not necessarily just in this qualifier, but he throws the arrow, he's like, I've thrown the arrow, now it's time to right-click, but you've got to wait for the arrow to land. You can't attack while the arrow's midair. Not only did he wake him up, take the sleep on himself, the arrow misses because he's invulnerable during that, like, 1 second period. So, it's one of those little slip-ups, like, he knows how it works, but he just, like, a brain fart. Like, it happens. It happens to even top pro players every now and then.
Knave and Goody trying to rotate over. They're going to be unable to catch the Centaur. Centaur still just as strong in the offlane as he's always been. He's got level 3 and a couple of CS. Literally just a couple, just 2 for him. Talking about CS across the board, Brewmaster matching up well against Naga. It's 16 and 15 apiece at the moment. 18 for our Lifestealers. So everything pretty calm. Last Hit Magic and Joik wanting to make something happen. Oh, there's the Courier.
Get the ensnare.
Oh, they're going to get the ensnare.
Yeah.
Well played, and Courier's gone. I didn't see. Did that Courier have anything on it?
No, it had Naga's bottle.
Oh, that's
good value from that.
Huge, absolutely. Man.
Naga mid without the bottle actually struggles, because that means the next 3 minutes he's going to struggle to last hit, because Riptide is a majority of his lasting potential. So I think they may have just been going for the smoke to get the kill mid, but the career is almost better.
Yeah, I actually do think it's better.
It is first blood, but hey, they can get first blood later on using the Bane Mirana.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's basically when you look at the value of a courier, it's basically like a free tower they just took. Just from rotating with one smoke.
Yeah.
Joik coming back into position.
Oh, bottom lane could be in some trouble, though.
Let's see if Nerok's got the goods. He's going to be disrupted. Follow up. There's the Astral Spirit. And the Stomp is well timed. They have the damage to follow it up. They absolutely do. And Nerok going to end up being your first blood as Ban Earth first on the board.
Yeah. Once Lifesteal gets the phase boots, the killing potential is just so scary. And he doesn't have vision there. And with the lane ward for Ban Earth, they just get that initiation a bit too easy. I think he needs just to be playing much more cautiously near his tower.
Joik rotating up the top now. And taking a cue from you, half-fried egg roll, will end up getting back to safety.
He's got the advantage of having that room ward. He's got a ward protecting him in the river that can see those rotations, but the Centaur has no observer ward vision at the bottom lane.
Solo kill onto the Naga, and lacking a bottle. Things get sketchy real quick, don't they?
Yeah. Doesn't even need to use the ultimate for that, so he's now level 7. He can rotate off this map. He's going to have such a fast blink dagger. Brown boots, bottle, and 1,400 gold. Chicken MC off to a fantastic start.
This is what I've been wanting to see, too. Not just a Brewmaster picked and played, but one who, like, not necessarily wins his lane as hard as he is right now, but gets off to a good start, and we really get to see the potential of the hero maximized in very capable hands. Rest of the map is settling back a little bit, but 5.5 minutes in, we're all tied up 1-1.
Oh, bottom lane again.
Bottom lane, they will be going again. Stomp once again on the money. And another stomp. Is that enough? No. Elder Titan right there with him.
Elder Titan gets the bonus movement speed even from his Astral Spirit, so he can easily keep up with the Centaur. And this Bane is still trying to go for kills at top lane, but the Observer Ward just scouts out his every movement. This is just a waste of time, really. He could be pulling, he could be getting farm and XP elsewhere.
Ban Earth.
This Chen is stacked neutrals for day. He's hoping for a Wild Wing to farm this, but he's not getting the Wild Wing Tornado creep, unfortunately, because Mirana's not a good hero to farm stacks. Brewmaster can with some Thunderclap spam, but not really the best, so this is pretty much for the Chen himself. He wants to farm this with a Wild Wing Tornado, but he's not getting one.
Going for a dive now onto half-right egg roll up in the top lane. He goes into the jungle. He's got 2 points in the Timber Chamber. He's going to be blocked. Mirana spotted him, and everyone's there. And Chicken MC there to secure the kill with the clap, and he's becoming a liability. He's going to have a blink dagger like right now, dude.
That's damn scary. And now the T1 tower, T1 tower down, he's got it. So.
Yep, that's blink complete.
This is fantastic for Shadows. We're getting to a point where Relic's struggling mid because he lost his bottle. So they not only have got a Brewmaster off to a great start, they've slowed down Naga Siren to a good amount. We're not going to be seeing that kind of 13-minute radiance that we every now and then do get to see.
Well, not just that, they've really just crushed the Centaur. I mean, like, and they're making up for that. Man, Earth has killed him in so many times that should be a problem.
Well, now they're going to come in and look to counter gank this. Brix he's out of mana. He's got no rage.
Yep. Oh, stomps off the mark. So Brix able to make it away. But yeah, like this Centaur has been killed and has really been struggling most of the game. But it's honestly not mattering just because they're getting so much out of their Brewmaster.
And that's, I think, part of what Shadow is, they don't mind their Centaur dying. Like they're basically saying, look, you're going to commit 3 heroes to him. It means you're losing your other lanes because your supports aren't rotating. Shadow Demon can help out other lanes. I guess that's one of the big problems of picking up this Elder Titan. He's not a good 4-position support.
And Brew trying his best to continue with the pain train on the Naga, but she uses Mirror Image to able to make it away. But yeah, like we haven't even seen Brew use his ultimate yet. And I mean, given he's so far ahead, I mean, like Brew ulti at this level is just so devastating.
Yes, and he's got he's going to hope for the 8-minute rune, and I think we'll see him go for a gank somewhere after that. And it's going to spawn bottom as a double damage. Neither team having any rune vision right now after we've hit the 8-minute mark, so most of your starting observer wards have expired.
Wow. He just he's just gonna go straight for the tower, I guess.
That was a misclick, I'm pretty sure.
And they've got
definitely a misclick, but yeah.
I try to give him benefit of the doubt. It's like you're just really happy to go after the tower, and yeah, he's actually not in a good position. He has to blink away, and that's pretty costly. I mean, the cooldown's not inconsiderable. It's 2 minutes. He doesn't have access to that.
Yeah. Right. They've got the ward behind this tower here, so they can somewhat safely push this. They'll see heroes coming in if they try and rotate, but without much mana on the Brewmaster. I guess they've got Arcane Boots, so maybe they will be okay for mana. They have at least a clap. There's no Primal Split for a good minute and a half.
Career just hanging out.
Oh, and Mirana's rotated mid now as well.
Won't get too much. Yeah, Mirana actually was disrupted as they spotted her out on the high ground and taking some damage from her own illusions. Looks like they want to continue to play aggressive. The Timbersaw, in the meantime, is making up for lost time. He's got Arc Boots up. His farm has been abysmal. He's actually just about as bad as the Centaur, rather, sitting at just 13. One going to rotate over and force him back. Looks like everyone happy to just go farm for the moment, but Bane does have his eye on a double damage rate.
Yeah, these are the kind of games where I think Timbersaw just fell off because games like this he just doesn't do enough. Whereas you compare, like right at this stage of the game, Centaur's a lot scarier than Timbersaw. Even though Timbersaw has more levels, more farm, the Centaur offers the team so much more because of Stampede, and the only item Centaur needs is a Blink Dagger, which you don't really need this early on. Like you're fine getting a 13 to 15 minute Blink Dagger, whereas Timbersaw desperately needs farm and items. So I think for Shadows, like the Centaur pick, even though he gets shut down, is fine just because of the nature of the hero Centaur, not needing the farm.
Joik actually just missed a huge opportunity at bottom. The Lifesteal blew his rage to try to retreat, then he went and hid in the side shop and TP'd, but his rage was on cooldown.
Okay.
And TP'd without rage protection. And he still managed to make it away, so bit of a missed opportunity there. But yeah, looks like Brewmaster finds his DD, and it looks like what you suspected, man. Rune up, and he's going to look to put it to use. However, the ulti's still just about 15 seconds away. Yeah. Who do you feel like's won the early laning phase?
Definitely a die side. Shadows of the Past, like they lose center only, and it's all in all gone fantastic.
At the top, one in some problems. And no, he's actually going to be able to make it away. He's using Moonlight Shadow, and no, Shadow Demon does secure the kill when all's said and done. That looked a little wonky. Yeah. And
that was a weird gank to follow. Like, Shadow Demon and Elder Titan were trying to gank it. This is not a support duo that can get kills. The only reason they got that kill was because Leap was on cooldown, which I don't even know if they realized. Or I don't think they did. That was just some random luck.
Ready to push the tier 1 now, as Shadows of the Past looking to build on their lead. They are trailing in kills, and there's going to be the Naga sleep. Let's see if they've got the goods. Chakram out already, and stomp. No! Now they're going to go ahead and use the Hand of God. Last hit magic going to be brought down. Behind that, we see the Timber trying to clean things up, but the Brew got his ulti off. He, plus the Centaur, now running over everyone. Eggroll and Relic have to try to get away. Bricks now infesting back out. It looks like they did manage to bring down the Bane amidst all that. Brewmaster's ulti will be expiring, but they might have the damage. Nope, they're not going to pursue into the tier 2. So the Centaur unable to catch up in time to stomp before the Rage. Either way, bit of a win there for Shadows of the Past. It is 5-3. Actually, it was in terms of overall kills, I think Ban Earth actually came out.
That was kind of, I think, 50-50. The tower got denied, which I don't even know if you call that a win for Ban Earth, because at the end of the day, they're losing towers. But Ban Earth killed, it was a 2-for-1 trade in Ban Earth's favor, but they only killed the 2 supports. They killed Chen, they killed Bane, they lost Elder Titan, so only support heroes died, but a small win for Ban Earth, perhaps.
Relic spotted out in the jungle.
No ulti.
Yep, Brew got eyes on him.
That's where that fight's a win for Shadows, because the Naga's ulti is on cooldown because of that fight, and now Naga is as good as dead.
And yep, cleaned up, got some help from the Mirana and the Bane. Stampede actually, I think that arrow might have hit if it wasn't for Stampede. And then Brew running over him and slowing him. There's actually a haste ring down here that he will grab as well. So, what was a win, and definitely when you go by the charts, by the way, it was a win for Ban Earth. That's basically been a race now, though. They're back to just about the largest lead they've had all game. And now they're going to go ahead and collapse on Roshan. We're just past 12 minutes in. And give me one or two sentences. What you think the captains are thinking on both sides?
I think for the Die side, it's let's take Roshan, let's go from objective to objective. From there, they can transition into taking the Tier 1 bottom tower and then move to Tier 2s. They're going to have a Chen with a mech. And Chen with mech negates so much of that AoE damage that destroyed him in the last fight. So I think for SP, it's basically group up as 5, go from tower to tower. For Ban Earth, they've got to try find pickoffs, go for smoke ganks. For now, it's try and contest Roshan, though, but this is risky without the Song of the Siren.
Roche very low. They're going to move in, and it is going to end up being picked up by Centaur. Now they're looking to reinitiate. There's going to be a wonderfully shot Earth Splitter, though, and they're coming in right off of it. Nayrok should end up losing that Aegis immediately, and he does. Joint going to be the next cleaned up. That's 4 for Nil as of right now. They know he's coming back up, and Nayrok just going to try to TP away, and there's the disruption. Keeping him right on the ground. He's going to come back out to his death, and that went about as well as it possibly could have for Ban Earth. Not only do they did give up the Aegis, and granted, I guess they could have snatched that if they wanted to do something much better. But like you said, going into a risky situation without the song and managing to take a win that big now at 9-4, they're most likely going to have a chance to take a Tier 1 as well.
Yeah, that went amazingly well. This Elder Titan has been doing work with these Earth Splitters, and the past fight is because he had the Song of the Siren set. This time around, he made it work without one. So really nice play. The arrow catches Knave under the tower. Bad news for him.
Oh, Song right off a cooldown. And looks like, yeah, they're just going to try to vacate with that. Knave, almost caught up with him. Still would have been
They may catch Relic? No, they're not going to chase for him. Blink actually forward, but Relic's head east, so he should be able to get out of here okay. They know where they are, but...
Yeah. Don't think they're willing to chase it out right now. And this actually turned out to be a fairly close game. Given how well the Brewmaster had started, you'd think it would have been a little bit more out of hand. But do you think that's due to something that Shadows of the Past is misplaying or not doing enough of, or is that just is it not time for the hero to feel that out of control?
I think for Shadows, it's their lineup took a little bit longer to come online than they were like. Chen got a bit of bad creep RNG. He never got that Wild Wing to farm up all those stacks he did. Those stacks are still sitting there.
Jeez.
Both those. Oh no, they killed one. They've still got one stack there, but these stacks they can't really deal with. So I think his farm was a bit slow. Still hasn't actually got the mech. I thought he had it coming out that last fight, but normally you look at Chen and you think maybe 13 minutes for your arcane mech is a good time. And this is 15 minutes and he's still not there. So I think the one thing where Shadows aren't doing too well is just not having the mech up, and also the blink on the Centaurs probably, this is the stage you need it and they're going to get it. So I think for Shadows, they'll get the blink momentarily on the Centaur, they'll get the mech on the Chen, and things will then start look a bit better for them, but they're not the only ones picking up items, realistically.
Mass TP to top as the Fiend's Grip from Joik. Caught bricks out. Do they have the damage he's going to be able to... Nope, he's going to be able to infest, and now they've got to keep an eye on the creeps.
Yeah,
and let's see, that creep's not taking damage yet. They know right where he is.
It's not going to work because his rage comes off cooldown. Like, they tried to Fiend's Grip him during the rage, so then they could kill him after the rage wore off, but now he'll come out of this infest and he'll have rage. So he can rage TP or he can just rage and run.
Yep. He's just going to rage and run. Joik might be able to get him with a Nightmare now. Going to be just out of range.
Yeah. But yeah, the infest is almost like as good as, well, not as good as the rage. It's a different kind of survivability there that helps keep him alive. And
they might decide to re-engage as Elder Titan is now hooked back up with Bricks. Not very happy about being accosted while he was just trying to farm. Bricks going to come up and immediately open wounds. Chicken MC has his ulti. That makes him a very... Oh no, he's Nightmare. Now the arrow is going to be there. He will go ahead and use the ultimate. And that makes him a weird target. I mean, if they were keeping track at all, they had to know that he was not going to be an easy target to bring down. And the Storm Spirit actually caught up with one. But yep, that's going to be the Timber. No, it wasn't Timber Saw. It was the Shadow Demon.
Yep.
Who ended up dropping.
I think he could have cycloned any of those three heroes. He didn't want to go on the Life Stealer because he was maybe worried he couldn't kill him. But probably should cyclone the Elder Titan. That would have been a more important kill. Elder Titan's building the mech for the Radiant team. Shadow Demon, your super hard support here is not really that big of a kill. But Elder Titan, even though it's still a support, would have been a bit nicer. But end of the day, they get 2 kills. They're going to transition into this tier 2 tower. And this is the objectives I was talking about before. They want to just group up as 5 and take these towers and teamfight when possible. Without Brewmaster Ultimate, they have to be a bit careful, but they'll try to grab this tower and run.
Tower down. TPs are there, but they're...
Ooh, one got cancelled mid. Another Fiend's Grip.
Very nice play by Joik. He's got to be careful, though, as he's alone with Bricks. And Bricks, he's actually going to nightmare him. He's got help coming. It's going to be the Brewmaster, but Brewmaster with brown boots, not exactly a fast panda.
Yeah, he'll have another blink clap, 8 seconds. He wants to commit to this. He wants to chase. He knows that he has no mana, so it looks like we're going to see a kill here.
There's the nightmare. Clap in a couple of seconds. Nope, stomp. That's an unfortunate death. That's one you don't really want to give up.
Yeah.
And that's one you just don't see all that often in Pro Dota, honestly. It's very rare that you see a lifestealer running around, unless it's right after a big fight or something. Very rare you see him just running around with no mana.
It was really nicely played by Joik. I think he cancelled the lifestealer's TP with the Fiend's Grip and just played that fight really nicely. So, Bannerth will get a bit of a trade top lane. They'll get the tier 1 tower, but at this stage, SP are getting a trade mid. They will at least seem to be going for possibly a push mid. And they're also pressuring bottom lane with the Mirana. So Mirana getting very farmed, going for a Desolator. So they really are all in with this idea of pushing down towers. Like Desolator first Mirana is pretty uncommon nowadays. Normally you see the Maelstrom, or you go for like the Manta style or BKB if you want survivability. So
right now it's beginning to feel like Relic, who has his Relic up, is going to be one of the lone hopes that Bannerth has. He needs to finish his Radiance. They're going to collapse bottom. This is the right call to make as they force the big reaction in the mid. But it's Scepter Blink right now for the Brewmaster, by the way. He's got the 2 pieces on the courier on the way to him now. And that's an 18.5-minute Blink Scepter. So certainly been an excellent game for him. Chin creeps way up front. They're going to try to smoke into this and try to catch...
They need those courier items. It's also the Deso and the Mirana. Like, they do not fight until you have that courier item.
Popped. Bricks just had his smoke popped. Relic's there. Now they're going to sleep. Sleeping into it. They use Moonlight Shadow. Do they have detection? Yep, they do. And there's going to be an arrow that actually caught him as well. Now, Last Hit Magic making his way up. There's going to be a double stop. They're going to try to follow it up. Hand of God used to get everyone back into fighting shape. Last Hit Magic finally dies, but Bricks has been caught with the Fiend's Grip. That's going to be a max duration grip for sure. Mirana, in the meantime, pecking away with that newly bought Desolator, and the damage is enough to bring him down. And the Cyclone catches Knave as well. Brewmaster being the big difference maker. He will reassemble, and actually, I didn't think he was going to blink, but hell with it. Kills a kill, right? He'll get a crit. And one more auto attack to make it a 4-for-2 overall exchange. Behind the fight, though, we see Goody was helping to pursue them out. Nope, not going to be enough. The stomp from the Centaur locks him down before he can clean up Nirok. And the Brewmaster still down in lane, ready to continue with the push. That's a full 5-man wipe.
Yeah, 5 for 2 there. They lose the Chen side of the fight. Chen got everything off though. Mech, Hand of God, and like at that point, you threw all these spells at a Chen for no gain. A Chen without Mech or Hand of God is just a range creep in a team fight. You're better off killing a Chen Centaur at that stage. Like, Chen Centaurs do more than he does when he doesn't have Mech or Hand of God.
There it goes. Tier 2 down in bottom lane. And Shadows of the Past continuing to roll. And that's a big swing in their favor. You can see it was running very close to even for the majority of the game. Dipped down a bit, about 2K in their favor. But now with these big items coming out and these fights simply not going their way, we're beginning to see the power of that Brewmaster really come into play. And the Scepter, again, in Blink done at 18.5 minutes. Do you think that Bannerth has the firepower to keep their remaining tower, just singular one, at least outer tier tower, standing and to extend this game? Or do you think it's critical mass now for Shadows of the Past?
I think this tier 2 mid tower will probably be sacked at some point. It's probably just a matter of how soon. Like, Bannerth will look to try and delay it going down, but at the end of the day, they're not going to try and fight SP pushing his 5 with Brewmaster Ultimate, with Centaur Stampede, especially if there's maybe even an Aegis on top of that as well, but... we'll see what happens, but I imagine for now it's just going to be let's just defend the high ground when that time comes.
Brew. Just being a jerk and preventing the stack on the Ancients there. Did he actually stack him anyway? Yeah, he did.
I stacked it for them.
Yeah. It looked like he was just trying to mess with them and do a little bit of damage in the meantime. But yep, creep aggro is a weird thing. They end up stacking it anyway. Roshan, still a bit until it's back up, but everything's really just going their way. We actually see the Hood of Defiance is now done on Nayrock as well. And, you know, the big thing is just how well Shadows of the Past has been able to account for Bricks, and that's due in a large part to Joik. Joik has just been a monster on this Bane all game.
Yeah, it was a really, really clever pick anytime you're against the Lifesteal. Finally, though, Relic's Radiance is up, and it's a bit, much later than you'd hoped for it up, but it's still not too late that they're like behind and out of this game without a chance. Like, I think this is still possible for them to turn around this game. It's a 4K, 5K gold deficit, but... they can still bounce back. Radiance Naga Siren farms so damn fast, and forces SP to constantly come back and defend with the split push. And the SP just want to group as 5 and push, but they may find themselves constantly having to TP back to deal with the Naga.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Well, if there's one good thing that SP does have in the face of that Radiance, they have a Chen who has his mech and is adequately leveled. He's almost level 10, so he'll even have level 2 Hand of God before long. Arrow going to be shot, catches nothing but a creep. But that means they're going to have an easier time taking these fights later than a team without those 2 healing mechanics to rely upon would. The fact that they're, the slow burn damage that comes off the Radiance in a big 5-man team fight is still going to be devastating, but they do have the ability to outlast it so long as their initiation and or counter initiation is on point. Looks like they might want to jump on the Mirana. Yep, he's doing some damage with the Deso, but will be forced back by the Chakra. There's going to be the mech already used. Mirana still hurting a bit now. Ooh, the Timber Chain leapt away from. And we actually see the Brew who came in. He's got his ultimate available. Caught with the ensnare. Arrow shot. Will be dodged. And he's still got a double damage up. He's also got 2,400 gold tucked away.
One of the big problems right now for the Dire team is they just don't have good sustain with the push. Like, you see Mirana getting just harassed down by a Chakram there, and suddenly, what heals... you have a Chen who's one of the master heals, but you really need, urn charges or some way from Mirana just to sustain yourself when you're trying to push. So you've got to spam mech. That's got a 45-second cooldown, so constantly the push just ends. They don't really have that easy sustain when they're going for the push. Like a hero like Lifestealer's got just inbuilt regen using his Feast and just concede using the Rage, but Mirana not really a good sieger with that Desolate just because of how squishy she is.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And the idea of an urn, I mean, given that, when you look at what Shadows in the past drafted, you knew they would want to be putting it to use very early. I wonder why they opted not to go urn at least on one of these heroes.
It's great on the Bane. I think Bane should have just got that, then go for the full stuff afterwards. It's a small thing, but you look at most of your top tier teams, you'll see almost every game, at least, especially if they're going for the pushing lineup when they're ahead. Well, every time they get an urn, it's just such a good item.
Roche is back up and has been spotted. SP going to move back in and look to take their second Roshan of the game. 24 minutes into this game. The lead was cut down a smidgen by Bannerth once again, and that's of course due in some part, if not in large part, to the Naga Siren's increased farming potential, split push potential with that Radiance. But Roshan going to give them an Aegis, and this could get a little hairy if they decide to push afterwards. However, Bannerth already ahead of the game. They're split pushing top tier 2.
Yeah, I think this is a good trade for Bannerth. They're not in a position where they can contest Roshan at all. They haven't got good map vision. They've not got and that's saying that with the Song of the Siren on the map. I just don't think they can contest Roche because they're playing so blind, and we'll see what they can do now. They do get a tier... Well, they get most of a tier 2 tower. It's going to get denied perhaps, but either way, I think it's still decent for them.
We've got Brew getting eyes on a Relic. There's going to be Drunken Haze. Relic's going to use Song of the Siren and immediately TP away, not wanting to take any chances whatsoever.
I think you can Primal Split that. I think you can just Primal Split and get that kill, because the Song, it shouldn't affect the Boulder Toss Panda. So.
That's an excellent point.
I was waiting for him to maybe just throw an ultimate there and go for that kill, but each to his own. I guess they want the Primal Split for the push. You're pushing with an Aegis, and if you don't have, he would have to wait for the Primal Split cooldown to come up before they go for that push, maybe.
Right.
But
well, and now you know that Naga Song's not a threat.
No, I think you're right. That's actually maybe better he saves it, because there's no Song.
Yep. Just take the sure thing instead of trying to make the big play.
Yep.
And a little bit of a delay tactic using Echo Stomp. But last of the outer tier towers drops. And now the siege is on. However, Bannerth does have, unless you're just out of position, you make mistakes, they have a decent team at defending the siege.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to hit these Earth Splitters, which have been winning fights for Bannerth at times, without the Song of the Siren, unfortunately. But still possible. Their burst damage is crazy. Like Earth Splitter, if you hit heroes with the natural order as well and combine that with the Timbersaw damage output, it just becomes ridiculously scary. Well, I guess pure damage isn't amplified by natural order. So in some ways, Timbersaw plus Elder Titan maybe isn't the best combo. But it's like, well, you're doing pure damage regardless. But the Soul Catch is going to be another big spell this fight.
Right. And another good Echo Stomp. Yeah, he threw the Earth Splitter. That's going to catch 2. Hero can last hit magic. Pipes up and used. And all the way back, we can see Naga.
They got to defend. They've already lost a tier 2 tower to this Naga, and I think at this stage they're just going to say, okay, push is over. Someone's got to TP, but they're still not willing to.
It looks like they're dedicated
all in.
They just, I guess
they have no Piper mech, and they're going all in for this. I don't know.
Yep, they're going to go ahead and stampede. There we go. Oh, beautiful turnaround. However, Bannerth kiting this out. Primal Split's going to go off. And Brew pursuing them all the way back into the base. Boulder Toss is actually disjointed there. And trying to catch up with them. They're diving. He's diving all three of the spirits all the way back. He's going to lose one, if not two.
They're losing Raxes, meanwhile.
Bricks, it feeds the Earth Spirit. And now it's just the Storm Spirit. He's going to reassume and be able to blink away, but just barely. And we saw someone go home. That's going to be Relic, who did get caught with the Fiend's Grip. Yeah. That was bizarre. Well, I guess you can't always talk, man. They did end up taking down a Rax of their own. Last Hit Magic will end up dropping behind that. So they end up trading a Tier 3 for a ranged Rax. Not the tightest play I've ever seen.
That was sloppy, bizarre, and just I don't think it was the right call to me. The end result's okay, it's passable, but they could have taken Raxes, maybe not now, maybe like a minute or two from now, as well as defended this bottom lane. Like, they lost Tier 2 and Tier 3 tower, as well as a ton of HP on their Raxes. Like, they could have defended both those towers and then just pushed later once they pushed out the lanes. Like, I don't know why they were trying to rush and force the issue there in mid lane when they needed to defend the split push.
Just now realized, man, Bricks has got a trust fund. He's sitting at 4,400 gold in his bank, and he's second overall in terms of overall net worth. He's 12.6K, and that's right in the range of the highest farmer on the board, which surprisingly, honestly, is the Mirana. Right behind those two is, of course, the Brewmaster. But, you know, we were having this conversation downstairs, like the first night we were all here, and I can't remember if you were there or not. But talking about, you know, Brew is not a hero that scales particularly well with items outside of one or two. Like Blink Dagger and Scepter make him amazing. You can go something like Shiva's or a Hex, and it looks like with the Mystic Staff, he's keeping both of those options open. But, you know, there comes a certain point where he's just not going to be as effective as a hero, like a Lifestealer, like a Mirana, etc., that do just scale so much better with items. So the importance of those other heroes gaining their farm now that we're transitioning into the mid-game 30-minute mark is really going to be of increased importance over the next few minutes.
Yeah, he's definitely not a late game carry. I think he still benefits a lot, like a Shiva's God late game. Like, you keep the aura even in your ultimate form, which makes it still a very useful item. Like, you blink, clap, even use the Shivers and then ulti, so you can. There's nothing really to cancel his ulti. Like, he's not up against silencers. This is a really nice game, an easy game for Brewmaster to do a lot of damage in a fight and make sure there's no way to prevent him getting your ulti off. Like, this Radiant team just doesn't have the lockdown, so he's guaranteed to be able to use Blink, Clap, Shivers, even a Drunken Haze before he ultis if he wants to. Like, he can use as many spells as he wants and then ulti as a last thought.
And they're rushing the high ground. There's going to be the pipe pop. It looks like they're half committed. A couple of Necro Creeps going to follow this up. Mirana's really living on the edge, and now, caught with an Echo Stomp, has done good damage to that Rax.
Mirana does have Aegis, and this time there's no split push to worry about for SP.
They're just not engaging. Like, we just saw them throw out the Demonic Purge, but she literally didn't move. She was just willing to sack the Aegis, but they didn't even dare take the Aegis for fear of any kind of a reprisal, and that's just a huge win, really.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think Ban Earth can engage just because at best case scenario they break the Aegis, but then they're going to lose 2-3 heroes to the counter initiation as well as Mirana respawning. So I think you just got to let that Rax go. You still got a chance. You still got the Naga Siren, and Naga Siren is one of those heroes which you can be down 2 Raxes, even 4 Raxes, and I've seen Naga Sirens turn around games. So I think they realize that they're better off. A lost team fight's worse than a lost melee Rax at this stage.
Yep, very much agreed. Taking a look at the performance throughout this game so far, we can see Brew has had as good a game as we've built him up to have had. 5-1-9, involved in 13 of 16 kills, 14 of 16 kills, actually. So he's really been the hub around which this lineup has turned. The Lifestealer on the other side, though, he's at 5-3. I think I just said the hub around which this Lifestealer is turning because I was thinking ahead of my words. But either way, he's looking quite well. 5-2-3 overall for him, so he's been involved in 8 of the 12 kills for No Earth or Ban Earth, whatever name they choose to go by. Looks like Relic is going for his Manta. Now, Manta, obviously great, but this is beginning to have the feeling of a game where they're just going to have to pure rat. And Manta changes the way that you have to play against the Naga Siren, just because she's going to be able to perpetually push you everywhere while farming the jungle.
Yeah, I think, Boots of Travel is going to be a key item for this dire side. So we'll see if they get any Boots of Travel, though, to deal with the split push that you're talking about. So Ban Earth, I mean, continue to send this Naga Siren top, and this will force Mirana back, who I think wants to get some Boots of Travel fairly soon to deal with this.
You can see they're trying to set up a bit of an ambush, or maybe just waiting and trying to maximize split push. Timber revealed himself there, though, and they're going to know what's going on. We can see the rest of the team is actually taking over the enemy jungle and moving around and trying to strangle them out. Like, which team do you think is looking the best now at this stage of the game?
Definitely still Shadows of the past. They've got great map control. The Bane's dewatered a bit with the gem. There's still some Radiant Wards which have managed to elude him, but This is, I mean, he's staying in this offensive jungle position to make sure there's no more wards being planted, and I think they're satisfied that Mirana alone can... there we go, Mirana gets boots of travel, and Mirana alone will be dealing with the split push, then TPing in for the Rax push.
Deso, pretty solid item. She's got a Manta as well, and we haven't even... I mean, we talked about the items as they've come out, but really, you know, Mirana's been super important. Doesn't have buyback right now, so that's always worth mentioning, as we're getting to the stage where we're likely to see most of the battles take place in the midst of the Tier 3s or around the Roche pit. But for right now, Shadows of the Past is doing a good job of choking this map out. However, 2 heroes are up top. It looks like one is going to try to maybe pursue him out. No, just going to go ahead and
they're staying up top to try and like split push this top lane, but as long as Mirana's there, they can't really split push it. So they're not looking to kill Mirana, they just want to push this lane. But Shadows of the Past are in a position where they could go for a high ground push bottom lane, but I think they're going to play it safe, wait for Roshan to respawn before they do it. And it's going to be, looks like about 1 minute from now, Roshan respawn. So
not too long at all, about 1.5 minutes. So like you said, playing, just taking their time and playing it safe. Taking a look at the items across the board, we can see, yeah, I mean, pretty much everything you would want. Necro book up on Last Hit Magic, just added the push. Pipe mech have been done for a long time. The Shivas, which we knew the Brew was going to get eventually, also completed out. What do you think could be a game-changing sort of an item pickup for Ban Earth at this stage?
Lifesteal is Abyssal Blade, but I guess at the same time he's got the money for it, but having no buyback is really risky. And Naga Siren, I think, well, Naga Siren with like 2 more items could be game-changing, but I don't think there's any like single one item for Naga. For Naga, it's just about getting super big, because Naga's not even leading net worth. Like if your Naga Siren's not leading the net worth at 35, 40 minutes in the game, that's always a worry. That's when you know you're actually you're losing. Like you could look at this game and not know Raxes were down, but you could tell Ban Earth are losing when your Naga's being outfarmed.
Smoke in mid. It looks like they're going to try to catch someone. I mean, they have to know that they're being put in the dark in their own jungle, and it's just a volatile place. And maybe if they can move out and get a kill, make something happen off of that. But nope, looks like they don't even want to take that chance. Doubling back up to north. There's going to be an invis room that should be spotted eventually by the Mirana. But yeah, all about Roshan, and he is back up, and it has been spotted by a Chin Creep. So they're likely to try and rush. Now remember, this will be cheese, so this ensuing push likely to be very, very difficult to stultify.
Yep. Well, I don't think Ban Earth can do much about this. Like they don't. The problem for them is they don't know the Roshan respawn time, and even if they did, I don't think team fighting into Roshan's that advisable. Ideal scenario, maybe they try and snatch the Aegis using the Song of the Siren, but they just have no information. They've now lost their map control, so Bane did end up dewarding the couple of wards that Ban Earth had up on the map. So Roshan will go down. Ban Earth all they can do is just try and split push some of these lanes a bit. They'll now realize they were at Roshan, so Naga can be a bit more aggressive up top with the split push, but this is not just Aegis, but also cheese, and I think the defense this time around is going to be pretty tricky to hold for Ban Earth.
Yeah, it looks like they want to talk about it for a minute. That or something else. I was going to say, let's be honest. How many times do you see teams pause and it literally is just to talk about it? Like, no, because you're only supposed to do it in cases of lag or something like that. How often do you think that really happens?
I think very rarely.
Really?
Yeah. From my experience playing in the past and just being around teams, I think it's very rare. I think normally it's like a quick technical issue, or like I would sometimes pause because like back when I was playing at home, like my mum would walk in the room and like try to start the conversation with me, and I can't like ignore her, so I'll just quickly pause the game and like I'd be playing a match even, but it's like, well, hold on a second, like my mum doesn't understand that. That was before she understood like what Dota was, but I think I don't think teams legitimately pause with the intent of like discussing and strategizing, generally speaking.
Yeah. I don't even think it's like I'm not talking about the pauses where it's like in the middle of the action.
No.
Like I'm just talking like in a moment like that where there's nothing going on, and maybe you just want a minute to collect your thoughts. I was just curious.
I think normally it's like a small tech thing, or just like adjust a audio level or something. I don't.
Pipe popped as soon as Mirana TP's in. They're ready to rush. That's going to be 50-some seconds on her boots of travel. And in the meantime, we're going to see the Naga Siren, as well as the Timbersaw. Nope, never mind. Naga came back. Timbersaw comes back as well. They use the glyph. Manta done on Naga in the meantime. They're going to move in with it.
Naga's going to go. Has 2 lives. Naga bought Manta, but still has buyback. So Naga's just going to go in this fight at some point. You can't just let Raxus die for nothing in exchange.
Yep. Arrow ends up hitting an illusion. Tier 3's down, and I'm with you. She's got to pick her shot. At some point, she has to use Song. And so far, he's given up. Now there's going to be a clap, and did not blow his ultimate that time.
Was it lifesteal raid? So that's a pretty short cooldown. But if they just went high ground right now, it could be something that was missing. But even with the lifesteals and raids, the feed script from the Bane so far this game have always been targeted towards him. So someone on Ban Earth almost has to save it disabled just to deal with this Bane.
Continuing to maintain the siege.
Yeah, pipe's back up. So they're just going to keep spamming the pipe. That pipe came a bit late.
Yeah, just a smidge. Oh, they're actually going to engage off the Centaur Stomp. They're going to follow this up on Bricks. There's going to be the Naga Sleep. And that's going to buy them. They don't want to be using this to retreat, though. Look at Relic. He's being burned by the Panda. Yeah. The Fire Panda was right on top of him. They're going to have to spin the ensnare. They're forced back behind their own racks. Now Goody going to be caught out with the rock. There's the leap in. And the Fiend's Grip onto Bricks again. Joik, you beast. Keeping him out of the fight. There's a disruption once again, but Knee-Rock, great reinitiation as he jumps in, lands a two-man stomp. Shivas goes off as the Panda reassembles. Now, though, it caught in front of the well. And, yes, the Abyssal Blade from Bricks, enough to make to take him off of the board. They're still going to be able to clear out both racks, so definitely a win across the board for Shadows of the Past, but a little bit weird, but I'll tell you what, man, even though it wasn't quite as good, it wasn't full duration grip, every time Bricks looked like he was in a position to try and re-engage and to get the damage done to these heroes, Joik has been there with the Fiend's Grip every single time. Well played, Bane.
It prevented Lifesteal from doing any damage, getting any kills. You get that Abyssal Blade, you're expecting to at least get a kill on one target when you go on him. The only kill they get is the Brewmaster, and they kill him at the Fountain. Like, that was Brewmaster's job. Right. Distract heroes, Cyclone them, Drunken Haze them, keep them out of the fight while Marana focused down the Raxes, and by the time they killed Brewmaster, melee Rax was already dead, range Rax was half HP, and the fight was over. So I think Shadows of the Past, they'll just continue along the same game plan. They haven't got an Aegis now, so if they want to be really conservative, they may just wait for the next Roshan and Aegis before they go for another push. But 4 Rax advantage, very, very clear lead this game around.
And looks like they're just trying to stabilize. We've already got a rotation over from Knee-Rock, though. Brew's actually picked up a Vlad's, and this is kind of what we were talking about. You know, build Brew into just an aura carrier. And it seems to be. And
I think they're thinking, let's end this game soon. So Assault Crest would be nice if they're expecting the game to be dragged on a long time. If the game was still even, you go with the Assault Crest. But because they're so far ahead, he's like, okay, let's end soon. Let's get something I can just spend my gold on, which is the Vlad's.
It's a little weird. Oh, almost got him.
Very close.
He actually force-stabbed him just to move him further away from his base, I think. Like, he actually used the force staff on the timber. That was bizarre. But, at any rate, failed gank, but they're ready to march down the last remaining lane. And that will be the top lane. We're coming up on 40 minutes, and...
Sento's got Necro Book.
Why not, man? What's wrong with some book?
Yeah, it's fantastic. You're up. Your only goal right now is to high ground push. Necrobook's a great item to do that. Brewmaster will keep doing what he does, which is throwing heroes up in the air and just distracting him, while not just Marana gets Raxes, Centaur gets Raxes using the Necrobook. Chen also, it's double Necrobooks now.
This Marana, by the way, is gigantic. Yeah. She's more farmed than the Radiance Naga Siren.
Still, like, that's really impressive. That's something that's hard to maintain. It is partly because of all the building kills they're getting, Raxes and towers giving lots of money, but even so, it's really impressive.
Looks like they're ready to go.
Yeah. They don't have Aegis, but they got buyback. So even if they focus everything, kill the Marana. Oh my, they've lost Goody. He got arrowed.
Yep. Ooh. Moving in, Bricks, Rages, and they also use Song of the Siren. This could be bad. Just Knee-Rock. And Chicken MC. And oh, Chicken MC just bursted down immediately. Mistake of initiation that time. Knave's in trouble, as is Bane, but he does manage to make it away. There's going to be another great Fiend's Grip onto Bricks. Bricks able to use the Infest to get himself out of trouble, though. Last magic. Ready, last hit magic, I should say, making his way finally back out. They're going to go ahead and use Moonlight Shadow, and that was just a complete fire drill from beginning to end. That was not well done.
They hit an arrow on the Elder Titan and got way too greedy. They're like, look, Elder Titan's arrowed. Let's all jump in on him. But Song of the Siren, Song of the Siren and Shadow Demon Disruption, there's all this counter initiation, so you can't actually kill if you hit someone with a 5-second arrow. They should have just kept on sieging. You hit him with a 5-second arrow, great. That's 5 seconds where he's not throwing Astral Spirits or Echo Stomps as you push the tower.
Right.
So I think they should have just used that 5-second arrow to chip away at the tower with the Marana and the Necrobooks, but they got way too greedy, thinking that, hey, we kill the other time, we maybe win the game.
Well, they kind of popped the pipe at a funny time, too. That's the weird thing. Like, they were waiting on the siege, and they used the pipe when they had no creeps to push with, and they just ended up waiting out just about the full duration of the pipe while waiting on the next amount of creeps, and then they got way too far ahead of themselves off of the arrow, as you said. And that's a pretty big loss for them, actually. I mean, it's not going to single-handedly... Actually, it might. I was going to say it's not going to single-handedly erase all of their lead, but when you look at the graphs, it's not too shabby, man.
From a strategic point of view, they're behind 4 racks. It's still a big lead, but one more fight like that, and then suddenly you start to worry. And it's a loss in confidence as well when you have a fight like that. It just makes you so much more reluctant to go for that next push, and it drags the game. And as a result, you lose that confidence. It drags the game out, gives Bad Earth more time to farm up these next big items of theirs, and suddenly you're no longer in control of the game anymore.
Naga's no joke, dude. Like, late game Naga, she's got 5,700 gold tucked away, and of course she has to be judicious with it, doesn't want to blow her buyback and end up getting picked off and something going horrendously wrong. So, you know, and it's easy to forget, as ugly as that last attempted push was, SP still has 2 sets of racks down. Like, you can't erase that kind of a deficit right off the bat, even when you have split push from Naga and the like. But she is very dangerously close to hitting that point of critical mass, and it comes down to what you were talking about in the beginning of the game. There just is a point in the game where a well-farmed Naga Siren just becomes unstoppable. Like, it's almost impossible to account for everything and all the ways she can pressure you, not just on the map and in a lot of these fights.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the plan's going to be for SP. I think it's largely going to rely on Roshan. They'll look at that and say, okay, we need cheese, we need Aegis, we need a lot more from this. I think the one problem though for Naga is even late game, Brewmaster's just going to be so good at dealing with Naga. Like, you're tons of evasion. Drunken Haze is an AoE. Like, you've got Clap. You can actually, like, and the Song of the Siren, like, you can't use it defensively to save yourself from a Brewmaster. I wasn't 100% sure, but all of his primal split things don't get affected by Song of the Siren. So not just the Boulder Toss one, which is magic immune, but even the Cyclone Panda. So you can, if you try and Song TP out of a gank, you can just Cyclone the Naga up. So Brewmaster's a great hero to actually try and kill off Naga Siren.
Arrow will actually connect on the Naga. No one around to help, so just a bit of a howdy-do as she was pushing the lane out. For the moment, it looks like SP has had the wind taken out of their sails a little bit. They are just spreading the map and beginning to farm now and not really trying to force anything. Big part of that might be the desire for a butterfly on the Marauder. She's already got the Eagle Song up, and basically, yeah, could have the butterfly right now if she wanted, but of course wants to play it safe with buyback.
Yeah. We'll get maybe Aegis and then buy the butterfly, or just farm enough for an extra buyback and then buy it. But yeah, but now it's really tricky with Naga Siren just picking up a Heart of Taras. This is the item you need to start getting into that late game beast mode. It makes your illusions so much tankier. It makes your own hero so much tankier. And killing these illusions is not easy for SP, for Mirana especially. Like, the Desolator doesn't really help out too much there, and we'll see what Mirana does here. If it will be a butterfly buy or not. And it looks like no butterfly for now.
Relic, as you mentioned, with that big tanky item, and still 2,800 gold, so it's not like she's in any danger of buyback woes. And this is definitely beginning to feel a little chancy. This is where things like Natural Order, you know, Natural Order isn't a big flashy skill that when it goes off, you're like, oh, so much damage. But in terms of what you can actually do whenever you have a hero like a Naga Siren who's going to be dealing both magic and physical damage, physical from her auto attacks or illusions and so on, and of course the magical burn that comes from the Radiance. Like, it's easy to neglect just how big a factor that becomes at this stage of the game, and especially as the game gets later, because it's percentage based, if I'm not mistaken. I want to double check that. But yeah, it's percentage based, which means it scales all the way through. So there's, you know, even if you're improving, it's still going to have a pretty across the board diminishing effect, no matter how late into the game this goes. Oh, Relic's actually, he's going to be spotted. Joink's right there with him and the Brew, and she gets the song off. Did he get it? No! He didn't.
Brewmaster needs to just ulti that.
Yeah.
Just straight up
ulti. Oh my
god.
god. That is such a huge mistake.
Like, last time we agreed, like, you didn't need to ulti that, but killing Naga Siren does a buyback, but at the end of the day, you just go push and force that buyback. Like, it's once that buyback's on cooldown, it's so hard for Banner to defend.
Bricks, by the way, is not exactly a slouch either.
They want to push now. That's, well, I mean, it's a similar scenario. Song's on cooldown, but this is a level 3 song, so it's got a 60-second cooldown, and we're just 25 seconds away. It's coming up very fast, the Song of the Siren. It's going to be up by the time they reach the base.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, they want to maybe invis in. That's actually a nice idea.
That is such a great thing to point out. You know, Naga Siren, this stage of the game, not only is it just her farming potential and everything about the hero that makes her brutal, it's the fact that you have to deal with a song every 60 seconds. Like, that makes it so hard to crack the base, even when you have such an inherent advantage as 2 sets of racks down in 2 different lanes. And looks like they are being a little bit hesitant, all because of that. What I was saying about Bricks, though, is he's getting to that point of critical mass. And when you start to look at how these heroes match up, they've got an answer for him, of course, in Joik, and he has played very, very well. You have the Brewmaster who can help out in that regard to a certain extent because of the Scepter and so on. But for the most part, if he's able to get on someone and actually get the Abyssal off, especially once the Assault Cuirass is done, which is very, very close to being complete, he's going to be able to just blow some of these heroes up, most notably that Mirana. However, the Butterfly, of course, does help out with that quite a bit.
Yeah. At this point, the Desolate doesn't offer Mirana much. Mirana definitely is thinking, let's upgrade this to either Daedalus or an MKB. Yeah. I don't think... Evasion not even picked up by Naga yet, so I don't think you need the MKB necessarily, but Daedalus is going to help a lot. And I mean, you still have the drums, so maybe you're selling the drums first. But you've got drums and phase boots. Okay, so we'll probably keep the Desolate for some time. But Desolate just isn't the item that is impactful in the late game, and this is where you've invested 4K in this item, and maybe you wish you bought something else at this stage, like the Mjolnir. I think Mjolnir is just a better orb to have in general.
Yep, I very much agree. Moving into the Roche Pit, and doesn't look like there's going to be any chance for them to contend this. No. This is going to be, they're even going to find a DD room. That's mighty handy dandy.
Ooh, they can pick that up after. They'll have Cheese Aegis and possibly a DD room to push with. I mean, DD won't last that long since they don't have any bottles to store it in, but they can just push with it. That's nothing wrong with that.
Spotted out. And yeah, just look at the lanes. And this is, again, a problem that's just inherent to having a Naga Siren on your team. And they're going to save it for the moment. Looks like last hit magic. No, he's actually going to take it. So, not putting a lot of emphasis on it.
No, it's something which, if there was a fight like around Roshan, it has a big impact. But when you're trying to push the enemy high ground, it's very low impact because by the time you get there, it's already worn off, and they spam move from the high ground, and you're slowly sieging. The DD rune is not going to matter. But hey, they're now smoked up. They're going to join up. Looks like they're trying to find Naga or someone. Once again with this, they're thinking Naga's maybe top lane, like trying to push out these lanes, but that's not the case.
Yeah, but she's back in the base, and was just pointing that out as, you know, she has done a fairly effective job of pushing these lanes back. She's got 5K gold. And what do you think her next item's going to be? Is this sell the Aqualate and maybe get a Diffusal, or do you save up for some other big item like a Butterfly?
I think Butterfly's not bad. MKB's not bad as well against the double evasion. So if you want to actually be able to kill these heroes, you may need an MKB on your Naga Siren. At this stage, though, any item you can buy means you have no buyback. So he's going to need 7, 8K gold before he buys anything. But I think maybe MKB, actually. I think you want damage output. Diffusal is okay, but Butterfly's okay, but you just need that MKB True Strike.
Here we go. Necro Creeps leading the way along with some Chin Creeps. Here come the illusions. Bricks uses his Midas to steal one of the Chin Creeps. This tower's melting so damn quickly. There's going to be an Echo Stomp that caught a couple. And looks like they were thinking about initiating on top of that now. Song is going to be up, so they have to be very, very careful in how they funnel themselves through this high ground. And Mirana still with that Aegis. Just eating the damage and going toe-to-toe with them. Could end up feeding it for free.
They should not feed the Aegis. They should back off now. They've still got a long time on this Aegis. They've still got 4 minutes left. I think they just want to back off. Yeah, send back from the Chen. Nice play.
Yep, taking their time. And I agree with you. I think that makes the most sense. Like, it's so tempting, especially in a setting like this where every win puts you potentially that much closer to Seattle and the International. And I'm pretty sure Shadows of the Past, Ban Earth has been mathematically eliminated. There's still a very small hope for Shadows of the Past if they win, but still, a hope's a hope. And it's got to be so tempting to just try to win it all at once whenever you feel like you have an advantage. And just to have that kind of patience shows a lot of discipline.
We'll see them have another good... I mean, they got the tier 3 tower with no contest, so they're probably thinking, well, let's just get full HP, have all our cooldowns, and do the same thing for the Raxes. And even if it's just one Rax at a time, they have to back off, then go again. They'll happily take that. Mega Creeps isn't going to be the end of the game, but it's pretty much at the end of the game. It's very hard to win the game once your opponents have Mega Creeps. Even though Ban Earth could theoretically hold with the Naga Siren for days, winning the game is just going to be nearly impossible.
The issue I think they're running into now is the other lanes are pushing in. The Mega Creep advantage in mid and bottom is becoming too much. And
Naga Siren hasn't been able to attend to the other lanes because of the constant threat at top.
Oh, there she is. She's going to go for it. Moving in. She got them all. Let's see if they can follow it up. Combo will be there. Echo Stomp. Boom. Will connect. Let's see if they have the damage. Earth Splitter didn't manage to catch one, but there's a Fiend's Grip. No, disrupted out of it. Beautiful play that time to make sure Bricks is able to stay in this fight. They're trying like hell to turn fighting for their very lives. They extend this game. Bricks, as big as he is, seems like he just doesn't have as much damage as he needs. He's eating so much off of this. Narok going to be ensnared back, but the double edge enough to bring him down. Now Relic left standing all by himself. He's next to Biffet. Behind that, the rest of the team had retreated. The Racks, only one still standing. Here comes Brew, uses the Shivas. Should be able to clean him up before he dies. No, never mind. He'll be forced that back to safety. However, Mega Creeps are out as the Mirana back up off of her consumed Aegis is enough to clear out the final remaining building that was keeping this game extended. As you said, maybe they drag it out a little bit longer, but with the Megas out against this team at this stage of the game, probably too much for them to hope to be able to weather. Looks like they will go ahead and clean it up, and yeah, they're just gonna. Well, I thought that was gonna be.
Well, I saw the all chat. I was wondering as well. But no, it's Diatech. They're the ones who look like they get team wipe, but they've got 4 buybacks. They're in no worry here. They didn't need to all die. They actually got when the initiation went off. They also both the Chen and the Centaur had their Necrobooks up, and they were focusing the Raxes. Yep. So the teams were both fighting. Like it was a full 5-on-5 fight, while Necrobooks finished the range Rax and then killed most of the melee Rax.
Yep.
Then Mirana came in at the end after dying from the Aegis to finish it off. So nice bit of just decision making there from those 2 heroes with Necrobooks to make sure they get the Rax, even if they lose the fight. Doesn't matter.
I'll tell you the shame of it was, that's the first fight just about all game where Bricks didn't spend at least a few seconds Fiend's Grip. It was actually really well played from their Shadow Demon, who was, like, I guarantee they were just telling him, it's like, he's going to Fiend's Grip here. Save Disruption for the damn Bane. And that time they did, but it's just, Mega Creeps are so hard. Like, when you get to this point, it's just all about desperation. Yeah, we can see they're actually buying Boots of Travel across the board. This is kind of standard stuff. Whenever you know a desperation push is going to be coming with a hero who still can potentially maybe win you a game, even though you have Megas, just buy a lot of bots.
Yep. That means if they see a big 4 or 5 man pushing, they can push it out of the lanes, go for the kind of quasi throne race. There's not even tier 4 towers up for the Radiant team. They've lost tier 4s. They've got a completely exposed throne, which basically means they've got to be pushing all 3 lanes out constantly because towers will not defend the throne for them.
Yep.
They need someone in all 3 lanes, which is just going to make this nearly impossible. I think this is the death push. I think Ban Earth is saying, let's go for throne now, and if it doesn't work, it's over. We've lost.
Yep. Got to do it. Goody's going to be caught with an arrow. Here comes the Boots of Travel on in. Rana, the one hanging up front. She got caught with the defusal. Was a defusal pickup, by the way, by the Naga Siren. And they're going to continue to push through. That bottom lane is already pushing out, and that's just Centaur. Centaur ran down there, manually pushed it out. Is still doing so, has his Boots of Travel ready to bring him back for pipe whenever they're ready. And but yeah, once you get just one lane shifting against you, it puts the enemy team on a timer. And if you have buybacks, which as we can see, they do.
Centaur could honestly win a throne race almost here up on his own with the creep wave.
Oh, there we go. Big initiation. Brew going to split right after the Shivas and the Blink Clap. Knave's in trouble. He has to run away. Fire Panda, along with some help from the rest of the spirits, are there to clean him up. And finally, that's going to be most likely the end of this game, as or Relic will sing for us either way. He's trying to get a kill on the Earth Panda, and nope, little bit late. Relic hung and will fight to his last breath for sure. However, the crit kicks in, and GG is called.
Poor Relic couldn't TP out because of the Earth Panda. he had to kill it. He was trying to kill it then TP, but he didn't have the option to TP.
And with that, Shadows of the Past keeps their very small but not non-existent hope for a potential appearance in the postseason alive. Ban Earth, who prior to this was already mathematically eliminated, gave it a hell of a shot, man. Tried to play Kingmaker a little bit. Always fun to be the spoiler princess if you can, but unable to do so. Still, one of the longer and more entertaining games that we've had throughout the whole tournament. I don't think we've had too many games go over 53 minutes, have we? Or over 50 minutes.
Very. I think there was the one good game we had on day 1, which was the Liquid Revenge. Was it Liquid? No, Revenge versus Snar. That was probably the best game we had on day 1, and that went about 55 minutes. But that's probably been the only one that comes to my mind. So it's great to have a game go the distance, and it was a pretty tight one at that.
Absolutely. I know that I've got to get down to the new studio, or to the other studio coming up soon, so still going to pop us on. My friend, it has been a pleasure. We get to cast again tomorrow, and I hope we get to cast again a lot more in the future. It's been an absolute blast, man. Thanks to you and to the BTS guys, of course. Amazing house, amazing studio.
We're so happy to have you guys here. You guys from D2L as well as all the Dota Simulator guys. It's fun to host guests for once and have some new faces. I get sick of LD every now and then.
Yeah, I can imagine. that's why you get the cats. Just something soft. And LD a little bristly sometimes. But once again, thanks for being a part of the broadcast. This has been the Penthouse broadcast of the Beyond the Summit. How I can't even get my thoughts together. I'm trying to think too far ahead of who I'm casting.
Something presented by Monster.
Something. Yes, presented by Monster is what I was actually looking to work in. The NA Hub, our coverage of TI4 and our coverage presented by Monster Energy. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at AC, at AYESEE, and you are?
At BTS Gods.
There you go. Make sure you check the guy out. He's kind of a beast and kind of worth a follow. I'll be back with Fear coming from the main studio coming up soon. Who's migrating up here?
I believe that is Suns Fan and Syndrome.
Suns Fan and Syndrome. Right here on this stream. And again, you can catch Fear and myself downstairs coming from the main studio in just a few minutes. Thanks so much, guys. We'll be right back.